People who think in the same direction create invisible energy, informational structures that directly affect us in daily life. They're called pendulums or egregores. Essentially, a pendulum is sort of a thought condensate, a soul of a thing, idea, doctrine, organization, ideology, or anything that has admirers, supporters, followers, and fanatics. There are many different kinds of pendulums. Pendulums can be religious, political, familial, national, or corporate. A pendulum can reveal itself during some massive public event, a football game, for example. Many material things that we value start to have pendulums. For example, a new iPhone or money. Once they appear, pendulums can put the people that created them under control as well as influence. They don't have a consciousness. Their sole purpose of existence is to draw energy from the followers. The bigger the followership that feeds the pendulum with energy, the more powerful the pendulum becomes. If the number of followers decreases, its vibrations die out and it dissipates. Most of the pendulums have a destructive nature because they drain energy from their followers and oppress them. Pronounced examples of pendulums are the pendulums of war, economic crisis, and criminal gangs. A pendulum opposes its followers to other groups like, we are good and they are bad. A pendulum aggressively accuses everyone that didn't decide to become a follower and tries either to attract or to neutralize or destroy them. It doesn't matter whether you love or hate something. It doesn't matter if you fight for it or against it. In both cases, you are swinging a pendulum and it becomes stronger by feeding on your energy. A pendulum doesn't care if the energy is negative or positive. Both work equally well. The main objective of the pendulum is to hook you up. The means are not important. The goal is to keep you busy thinking about it, giving away your mental energy. The most common method of getting access to your energy by pendulum is disbalancing you. When you lose your balance, you start to swing on the frequency of a pendulum, allowing it to gain more momentum. A pendulum may control you with fear, inferiority complexes, a sense of guilt and false importance. For instance, when a pendulum captures your mental energy, your attention in a loop, and you tune into its resonance frequency, you get mad, annoyed, feel anger, and resent. By doing this, you give away your energy at the same time moving to the variation where there is an excess of the things that you are futilely trying to avoid. You start to have a feeling that things that you are afraid of, despise, or hate chase you everywhere. You can't fight a pendulum. There are only two ways to get out of the influence of a pendulum: cause it to collapse or extinguish it. So the second rule of transurfing is, in order to get rid of a pendulum, first you need to admit that it exists and it has a right to do so. You have to calm down and lose interest towards it, that is, ignore it. By doing so, you will deprive it of your mental energy. When you are calm and indifferent towards it, you can save your energy and use it to transfer to positive variations of life. If you start to get annoyed, simply rent yourself out. Step outside of the situation and become an observer, not an active participant. Extinguishing of a pendulum requires certain mastery. Basically, you have to start doing offbeat, unpredictable actions that will cause a dissonance and disrupt the scenario of a pendulum. Of course, not all pendulums are destructive. There are many harmless pendulums, like a pendulum of sport and healthy lifestyle. Energy structures like this are beneficial for followers on an individual level and as a group. So don't get caught at negative pendulums and stay strong, my friends. Settings: use a male old husky British voice for the narrator. Use YouTube audio library only. Add clean subtitles with no outline. Don't use iStock.